Okay, quick review for our new players out there. First thing we learned was grip. You've got to grip the club correctly to strike down on the golf ball. Second thing we learned was posture. The upper body has to be in the proper posture to strike down on the golf ball. The third thing is stance. Remember my acronym, GPS, grip, posture, stance. Stance is always last. Now that's interesting when you think about it, because naturally what people do that haven't been taught when they walk into a golf ball is they take their stance first. So you watch people walk into a golf shot, they take their stance, then they fidget with their grip, and then they drop the club on the ground. Well, what's wrong with that sequence? This is what's wrong with it. You know, when you have the stance first, it's very hard to gauge how far to stand from the golf ball. So if I walk into a golf shot, I got a golf club, I'm kind of estimating, let's say I just take my stance, and I feel like, okay, that's good, and then I drop the club down. If I'm too close to it, I don't have room to tilt from the hip joint, so now I can't get my upper body tilted enough. Now, if I stand too far from the golf ball and it's out there, I kind of have to reach out for it. So now I'm too tilted, and the problem with that is now I'm top heavy. I'm toe heavy. So I can't be in balance during the golf swing if I'm too close to it or if I'm too far from it. And if you're not in balance during the golf swing, you can't keep your center still, which is what allows you to strike the ball solid. So if I'm the wrong distance from the golf ball, I will be out of balance when the club swings, and as I'm moving around trying to find my balance, I can't make solid contact. So after you grip it, and after you put your upper body in the correct position, you have to then take your stance so that your stance supports the balance of your upper body during the motion of the golf swing so you can make solid contact, okay? Stance has to be last, GPS. Now, how do we do that? All right, let's put the ball in front here. The sequence is start with your grip like we talked about in the first video. Allow the club to fall into your fingers. Push down on the handle. Hinge the club up. Create that right angle. Bring your trail hand up. Again, put the club in your fingers. Lifeline of your trail hand fits right over your thumb. I keep reviewing these points as we go. All right, so now I've got a lever. Okay, the next thing I do, pull my shoulders back a little bit so I'm not rounded in poor posture. Pull my shoulders back. When I do that, my biceps sit against my rib cage. Okay, now, if you notice, I've got my lead foot pulled back and my trail foot, I'm walking into the golf shot. So basically my trail foot is pretty much in alignment with the golf ball. Let's say that the ball and my big toe match up, right? So I'm in alignment. I'm not over here. I'm just kind of walking into the golf shot this way. Trail foot first. So if I grip it, I bring the club up, I pull my shoulders back, good posture. I step with my right foot. As we talked about, I drop the club down, butt of the club, to my belt line, and then all I do is I push my hip joint back to set the club on the ground. Now notice, this is not where my lead foot is going to stay. I'm going to adjust it. So from this point, I'm going to adjust my lead foot and then my trail foot. Now when I do that, what I'm thinking about is balance. If you were going to shoot a free throw in a basketball, right, you'd be on the balls of your feet so you could push off the ground. We call that ground force. In golf instruction, that's really important. You got to be balanced and you got to be able to use the ground. Now you can't do it if you're on the toes or you're on the heels. You can't do that. You're out of balance. You've got to be able to push off the ground. That's all you have to think about when you're adjusting your lead foot and your trail foot. So if I do it sideways so you can see this, I go lead hand, hinge the club up, trail hand, check my hinge, pull my shoulders back, drop the club down so the butt of the club is at my belt line. I step with my trail foot, right, and then I push my hip joint back to get the club all the way on the ground. There I'm in good posture. Then I adjust my lead foot and finally my trail foot. When I'm doing that, I just make sure I'm athletically balanced. I make sure I'm on the balls of my feet, favoring the balls of my feet, a little pressure on my heels. So now I could really move off the ground. If I get too far from the golf ball, I feel top heavy, and when the club swings, I'm going to lose my balance. If I'm too close to the golf ball, now I haven't tilted, and now I don't have room to swing underneath my body. So it's important, critical I should say, I step and I tilt, push the hips back, adjust my left and right foot, and again, the cool thing about this system is it works with no matter what club is in your bag. Learn it with your short clubs first. The reason we like short clubs, they're heavier and you can feel what's happening better. You create your habits with your short clubs and then you build into it with your long clubs. There we go. My last video I'm going to do in this little series is how to strike down on the golf ball once you've got that grip, posture and stance in place.